Yeah. You want to do the camera? It's hard. Do you want to do it? Oh, do you want to do it? All right. Go ahead. You can hit it. All right. Thank you. Perfect. All right. I'd like to call the October 7th, 2025 school board meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
This isn't plugged in, so I'm just gonna.
Okay.
Maggie Larson.
Here.
Carrie Clark. Here. Marsha Brown.
Here.
Bridget Jameson.
Excused.
Charlie Prescott.
Excused.
Sarah Reinhardt. Here.
Excused. All right. Please join troop 60904. Nice. In the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. When you're starting. Right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. You can sit, you can go take your seats. Thank you.
Thank you. Yay.
Welcome, everyone. All right. That's exciting. All right. So we have our public forum, citizens forum right now. Anyone that wishes to speak can come up and state your name. I think we have a special presentation from the Somersworth Festival Association. It doesn't look like anyone else is coming up, so if you can please, welcome Dawn. Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's been a while.
In a minute.
I'm very happy to be here this evening. I am here in my role as treasurer of the Somersworth Festival Association, and this is an organization that's done a lot for the city of Somersworth for a long time. And one of the goals, one of the missions that we have is to fund programs that provide arts, education, and experiences to students in the schools and in the community at large. And so over the last couple of years at least, and sporadically before that, we've been able to make contributions to the district to help the school buildings fund those arts programs. And so this evening I'd like to present a check to the SAU for $4,000 that we hope will be split $1,000 for each school.
Okay.
And I think some of the buildings may have already decided how they would like to spend that money. I'm sure they have. In fact, if you know money's coming, it's already spent, right? So,
Yep.
But anyway, I'd like to present to you this check for $4,000 from the Somersworth Festival Association.
Thank you so much. Katie, will you take it on our behalf? Or give it to John. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
John. Thank you
Do you
so
want
much.
a photo of the handoff of the check so that we have it on our media?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you want to be in front here with the two of you getting the check from?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
You want
You
to
want
be
to come
up?
down? Okay, yeah, I'll come down too.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's nice.
Madam Chair, if I might have one more moment, please.
Absolutely.
I want to remind everybody of the upcoming Pumpkin Festival this weekend. It's a big event with lots of kids come and have a great time. Saturday from 10 to 3 here in the parking lot outside. And we hope you all can come and represent the school board. You're all welcome to be there. We'll be there from 10 to 3. And we encourage the community to come as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think our students will be there, and yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to assure you, Mr. Austin, that the $1,000 per school will be honored as it has been in the past, and the dollars have been absolutely critical. And although the Festival Association doesn't ask for a report, we'd be happy to let you know how the dollars have been spent of late, and we can do the same again because they are critical, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you. Okay. See some other visitors in the room. I know it's all quiet right now and we should have music playing, but if you want to come up and tell us why you're here, just make sure that green light is on the microphone so we can all hear you, and all of these are cameras for our public access channel. Welcome. That's good. Press the button, yes.
Okay, now.
Now is it lit up?
Yeah.
Perfect. Hi, Mia.
Hello.
Welcome.
So we hid rocks around the town for like a scavenger hunt. For like, so people that find them have like happy, like have joy. Like if they're having a bad day and they find a rock, could make them happy. Like positivity rocks.
I saw a candy corn rock and it made me happy.
Yeah.
We've
I'm
hit
pretty sure
about
she
we've
made
hit 150 rocks so far, and tonight we're gonna hide another 50 in the parking lot where the pumpkin fest is going.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Businesses and stuff, and
Right.
Yeah. So.
around Third Street Bakery and
Yeah.
Tea's Salon over there in that area, and more in the library tonight.
Yep.
And what else did you want to tell them you're here for?
Hi, welcome. Come right up so we can hear you. Hi.
One part of why we are here is also for our democracy badge
That's
Yeah.
and checking out the local government.
right.
So thank you for having us.
You're welcome. Stick around. We don't have too much on the agenda this evening, but we have some good stuff about kind of, I feel like we have some democratic democracy on the agenda, Superintendent, that we can speak to. It's all welcome. And if there's questions at the end or please let us know. So welcome and enjoy. All right. Agenda item number 3 is the consent calendar, our minutes, and some proposed professional and certified new hires, everything in our packet and our enrollment report. What is the wish of the board to adopt the consent calendar as presented?
I make a motion to adopt the consent calendar as presented in our packet.
I second.
Second, any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye, wonderful, thank you. All right, our reports this evening. We start with agenda item 4.1, our student representative report. And I just want to take a moment and recognize that Talia Puckrin, our senior student representative, is a student of the week. And one thing that really stood out to me was the 500 plus hours of community service that you've dedicated amongst all the other things you've done. I've known you for a while now. Really proud of what you've accomplished, what you continue to, and your kind of perspective, able to apply your energy, hopefully not too thin, but 500 plus hours of community service with everything else you're involved in is an accomplishment. So congrats. And now you can take out your report with that.
Thank you so much
You're
for that. Okay, so first part of our report, I have just happenings of the Fall Pumpkin Fest, and it's this Saturday, and we officially have the most high school related organizations that we've ever had hosting booths. So there's a lot more variety of experiences and foods and different things like that, including different cultural experiences. NHS induction is October 23rd, and this is officially the biggest group of NHS students we have ever had, with 16 new members, which brings us to a total of 30 students in the high school. Our Pink Out Week is for breast cancer awareness this month, and we've decorated, we've had students dress up all in pink, and just to bring awareness, I guess. And then my next part is student perspectives. There are a lot of students that I've talked to that they want more incentive to achieve and excel, I guess. The Topper Privilege Pass seems to be losing its purpose almost, with less and less privileges aspects of it, and kids are losing motivation more. There's freshmen having burnouts after the first 2 months into school, and it's just it's getting worse kind of thing. My next topic is many seniors are upset about graduation at the Dome. And for many students, it's like a lineage thing where like their older siblings graduated at a prior place, and just changing it seems like taking away that moment for them almost. So there's a lot of upset about that. And with next thing is the electronics. A lot of students are complaining about how slow the services are and how more students are spending time waiting for things to load and open up than they should be. It's taking more time to do that than the actual schoolwork should be taking. And it's just very frustrating, and which is leading students to more burnout of just not having motivation to wait for 30 minutes for a computer to load. And that's all.
Okay, thank you. All right, agenda item 4.2, our city council update. I heard there was a long evening. Oh, sorry, was a question before? Absolutely. Yep, Board Member Clark, yep.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were doing. I just want to say, not really a question, but thank you so much for bringing up those things. We don't get much insights into the school. We have kids that are in the school, but we don't hear all the things. I find it very important, so thank you for that.
All right, City Councilor Parity Catanzaro. Long meeting last evening?
Yes.
Yes. You went, Pat, did
It
you
was a
have to
very
vote
long- it was a
for
very
the
long meeting.
extension? We will not have that tonight.
No. Yes, it was a very long meeting. There were just a lot of very long discussions about some things. I have a couple of things that might be of interest to folks that we talked about. One of them was that we approved the final time that we're going to say the final year of the Willen Warming Center for this weekend, for folks who are unsheltered and need a place to stay during really cold nights. We've had the place at Willen Drive for the last several years, and really looking for a more long-term solution. So we approved the final year of that with an actual plan in place, hopefully for the following year, which is we approved an MOU with the county. The county is going to be donating a piece of land. Somersworth, Dover, and Rochester signed an MOU to basically get the RFP ball rolling to see what it would cost to build a building there. So that won't be official until those costs come in and we get to vote on them. But I think it's really encouraging that we have a longer term solution for our unhoused folks in the area. And I think a couple of other things of note, updates around paving, which is always a big topic. It's looking like the area around Myrtle Street, Pearl Street, Nash Parkway, there might be another street or two in there, is on the list for next year, and the section of Maple Street between Bartlett and West High, the sidewalk repaired. So it's always nice to know what's coming up soon. There also has been some folks talking about the Rocky Hill Road extension, how that's not paved yet. So they're looking into doing some prep work this year because it's not quite in the shape that it needs to be in order to pave it. So those were a couple of the notes from our meeting last night.
Thank you. All right, our business administrators report. Kate, thank you.
So I'll have a full budget update of where we stand at the next meeting. We have a Budget and Revenue Committee meeting next week where I'll go over that, but I just wanted to give a few updates on a couple of revenue sources and then the school care assessment. So the first piece of my report goes over our state of New Hampshire adequacy. So in November of each year, we're provided with an estimate from the state to use for our budgeting purposes. The state guarantees 95% of that estimate. However, we're able to decide locally how much we want to budget. We typically budget 100% of the estimate based on the history over the last few years. We've received more than we were estimated, so if anytime we lower that from 100% down to 95 or any other percentage, it increases the amount we have to cut from our budget, so we tend to budget the 100%. So in November of '23, the estimate that was provided by the state was $9,061,890.90. In September of each year, the state revises that estimate based on our actual student counts from the end of year reporting that we do in June. So we received a final amount totaling $8,761,194.32, which is a decrease of just over $300,000. I've given you backup detail in the packet of all the areas that it changed, but I'll go over a few of those. So adequacy is determined by using our average daily membership. So for 2026, the base per pupil rate is $4,265.64 per student. Our final ADM, based on end-of-year reporting, was 1,267.3 students, which was a decrease of 15.97 students from what the state estimated us in September. There's also additional areas of aid for free and reduced, special ed, and ELL learners. So each of them you can see there have decreased from the estimate. So total decrease for the cost of an adequate education was $131,486.96. The rest of the $300,000 was made up in a shortfall from the Extraordinary Needs Grant, which is another section of the adequacy grant, which takes our equalized value property values over free and reduced eligible students, and it gives us an amount. So that amount decreased as well. As I said, I attached a summary so you can see each of the areas if you wanted to look at that in detail. I also gave you a history over the last 6 years of our adequacy payments to show you that we did, in fact, get more each year, and we would go back to the council to ask for a supplemental if we had extra in those years. The other revenue source that I want to go over is special education aid. So this is for financial assistance for our students who have costs that exceed the state average. So any student that we have that exceeds 3.5 times the state average of costs for special ed, we get reimbursed for. The state is liable for 80% of that cost, and then they're liable for 100% of the cost for students who reach 10 times more than the state average. October each year, the Department of Revenue requests the amount that each district is going to receive for special ed aid, so we received those the other day. The state appropriates a certain dollar amount in each of the fiscal year's budgets to cover these. If the amounts that districts submit come in over that amount, they prorate what each district will get. So the total for the special education aid in the state budget was $49 million. And they did increase that $16 million over last year's budget. So last year we were prorated at 69% of what we were due. This year they prorated at 90% because they were able to cover more costs. So when we created our budget last year, we increased that to $550,000 from $425,000 because we weren't sure what we were going to get. We did receive the estimates, and we are expecting to receive $998,561.51, which is an increase of just over $448,000. Again, this is not the total amount that we're due from the state. It's more than we budgeted because we budget a little bit conservatively there because we don't know the estimate of what they're going to prorate each year. And I did attach a breakdown of each of the areas. It represents 15 students that exceed those costs.
One pause just to see if everyone's good. Any questions yet so far? It's a lot of good information, but just wanted to check. Okay, thanks.
So those are the two revenue areas. The other point that I wanted to make was about the school care assessment. I know John had mentioned at our last school board meeting that we were notified by School Care, which is our insurance provider, that due to claims and pharmacy costs exceeding the actuarial projections, when School Care gave us our rates last year, they have a deficit, and they need to rebuild those reserves in order to cover claims for our districts that participate in School Care. So School Care is a risk pool, so each district shares in the good years where we get a premium holiday savings back, and then they share in the bad years, which is this one is a bad year where we are issued an assessment. School Care has been in existence for 30 years. It's the first time that they've ever had to have an assessment. So it's a $30 million assessment throughout all member entities of School Care. We received our invoice, and our portion of the assessment is $672,467.32. The payment terms are due upon receipt, so they're asking that districts pay this assessment immediately. There is a grace period if we pay before December 31st. After that, there will be interest charge, which is 0.5% per month on any unpaid balances that we have. If we have no payment plan or intent to pay by May 1st, they're going to suspend claims for our employees' medical claims. And then if we don't pay by July 15th, they're going to deny all claims, and claims will be returned to the employees to pay. And then, so that's the update I have. I think John, in his report, is going to go over next steps of what we're going to see going forward.
Thank you. Any questions? I think my only clarity is the $448,000 more, just the process and steps with that.
So what happens every year, the Department of Revenue will call me when we go to set tax rates, and they'll say, do you have any adjustments to your revenues? So we will adjust that revenue. $300,000 will cover the shortfall for adequacy, and that leaves an additional $148,000, which I think John will talk about during his report.
Thank you. Anything? Okay. All right. All right. Our superintendent's report, 4.4. Take it away. Thank you.
And I just want to remind folks, I'm typically going to have 7 or 8 relatively quick items, but I'll bullet point the most significant for the agenda. So that's about where we are tonight. I want to just stress in a sentence the special education part, which Katie explained very well, but just it's a lot of numbers and a lot of process. So special education funding is about 1/3 of our $35 million budget. What we're talking about specifically here is for students that have particularly high needs and that particularly high costs. So a little more than a dozen of our students is where the state steps in and says, we're going to help districts with these students because the impact on a budget could be pretty significant in these cases. We budget less than the state by regulation is supposed to provide us because they've always provided us less than they're supposed to. And last year was a particularly difficult year. So the unanticipated revenue of $448,000 is above and beyond what we had budgeted, but significantly less than what we need. So just want to make that really clear in terms of where the state is on this piece. I know the public debate about special education funding that is centered around this small piece, people often mistake as applying to all special education funding within the state, which is important to note. The school care assessment of $672,467.32, which is my first bullet point here, just to talk about next steps and what Katie and I in particular have been doing, but really three things here. We have looked really, really hard at our budget since we knew in August, late August, that this was a possibility. So we have been kind of fine-tooth combing everything. I want to be clear, and a credit to our business administrator and our school administrators in our operation, that if you take out the adequacy shortfall, and if you take out this new school care assessment and put aside the unanticipated revenue, and there's one other place where the federal government is letting us down on E-rate funding and supportive technology. If you take those things out this early in the year, we're pretty much spot on for budget. And all of those things, the unanticipated revenue, the adequacy shortfall, and the E-rate matter, which are kind of above and beyond the normal ups and downs, could be accommodated in a no crisis kind of situation just by generally moving things around and doing what we need to do and making some doing a little trimming where we can. The school care assessment is a whole nother matter. So everything is kind of like we can manage, but a $672,467 bill due upon receipt or before January 1st, if we don't want to start paying interest, is the thing that complicates things. So we're looking very, very hard. We've been studying our budget intensively. We are going to have a school board budget and finance committee meeting on Tuesday of next week at 5 p.m., where we will go through everything that we've already done on this in terms of preliminary analysis and where we are. Parallel, we are also already reaching out to the city manager and the city finance director and are hoping to get this before the city finance committee. So we kind of are looking both at our own resources and potential city resources to assist through this matter as quickly as possible. the $448,000 in unanticipated revenue. As the school department, Katie, as she mentioned, has the ability just to work with the state and say, hey, we're going to use about 300,000 of that to offset the adequacy shortfall. The balance of 148,000 requires the city council to say, yes, you can keep that unanticipated revenue. Given the situation that we're in, I don't want to predict where the city council will land, but I would expect they would look pretty favorably upon that piece of the request. But how we meet this school care assessment, and as Katie already made clear, we start paying interest after January 1st, but we have this school year and the very beginning of next school year to absorb it in two budgets if we need to. There's good reason to expect that health insurance costs going into next year aren't going to be any better. We expect our premiums to increase. And I think, as many people know, we are in a national healthcare crisis of sorts that is just kind of rippling through school districts in New Hampshire right now, but is significant. So I will tell you on the front end that we're hopeful we can absorb this in a more timely fashion. The interest rate is 6% annualized, which is hardly favorable, understandable given the dilemma that we're in. And even if we had to carry a balance in that regard through the end of the year, we're talking about $20,000 or $30,000. But that's still $20,000 or $30,000 that we could spend on other things. So that's next step. We're continuing to study the budget. We're bringing it to the Budget and Finance Committee of the school board, and we're bringing it to the Finance Committee of the City Council, and all of that's happening pretty quickly. And for staff members that are watching or paying attention, or union leaders that are here tonight, we would hope to have a better sense of where we're headed by the end of this month, so folks can feel better about that. Second bullet point, update on lawsuits. So we're 2-0 as a school district in standing up for what is right. I just want to be really clear about that. And we've done that with Dover and Oyster River in both cases. The federal anti-diversity, anti-equity, anti-inclusion lawsuit that began back in the spring, we were granted a injunction on that one, and that continues to be kind of, the lawyers work on that. It doesn't take any time from the district. None of this has ever cost the district a cent. It has, quite frankly, saved us a little money because we have a legal team that we're working with that is providing us with advice that other districts have to reach out for. So that has been helpful. And then last Thursday, the U.S. District Court of New Hampshire, Judge McCafferty, issued a preliminary injunction on the second lawsuit, which was the elements of House Bill 2 here in New Hampshire, that also had anti-diversity, anti-equity, anti-inclusion elements to it that risked forfeiting all of our state dollars. Our state dollars aren't what they should be, but they are a significant part of our budget. So that was good news. And I'll remind everybody that the way this law was written, it actually, and much of what the case hearing revolved around in late August, was that it seemed the state was declaring that special education was a diversity, equity, inclusion program that was now illegal in the eyes of the state of New Hampshire. The Boston Globe brought this to everybody's attention before the bill ever passed. It was raised on the floor of the House, and they still kept that provision in there that included individuals with disabilities. So I am still not clear on what the intent was, but as it stands right now, there is no certification deadline, and we'll see where it lands, if it gets ruled unconstitutional, if it gets carried further, or if there's a further ruling, but we'll keep posted. So both of these kind of are still floating out there, but there's no action necessary or certification deadlines. Important behind the scenes that I think folks understand that. Third bullet point, graduation on Friday, June 6th at Somersworth, Somersworth New England Sports Hub, the Dome at 6 p.m. I regret that there's seniors that have reservations about that, but that is the plan. And I would certainly get back to Mr. Tebow and the school administration with all 3 points that were raised if Talia, our school board reps, haven't already brought those forth to the school administration. Bullet points not listed quickly. I just want to thank everybody that came out for the superintendent's forum last Tuesday night. We had about 20 people there, 15 or 16 parents, talked about the situation going on around us and what's happening within the district and the Hilltopper Promise that we'll be considering tonight, I believe. And it was just a very good group and good conversation. I know we don't always have the time to come out for this, and Assistant Superintendent Kat Crosby and I were impressed. There was I say the same thing to teachers too, above and beyond our jobs, but with parents, as you have capacity in, your kids and your jobs and your work, as you have capacity, please engage in these things, participate in these things, get involved. And there was a parent that came up afterwards and basically said, I'm working 3 jobs, I have kids at home, I'm a single parent, but I am really angry. Tell me what I can do to change some of these things. So we'll try to figure that out together, but there's some good energy there. The Gear Up program that we spoke about last time in anticipation of Senator Hassan's visit to Somersworth and to the middle school and to the high school, which was a nice visit, and she had an impressive understanding of what Gear Up does and heard from us, but appeals to keep funding in place were considered a long shot, and they failed. We looked at ways to creatively use dollars that are already budgeted but not being spent right now to see if we could keep the Gear Up staff person on board in some capacity, even if month to month, given a young woman that was bringing a lot of energy and talent and was really doing an impressive job. But unfortunately, I think just in terms of having something a little bit more stable, she was willing to work for a lot less than Gear Up paid her, and that's where we would have been. And it was probably going to need to be month to month if we were using dollars allocated for paraeducators that need to be available when we fill those spots. But anyway, that unfortunately did not work out the way we had hoped. Idlehurst Elementary School, I'll be speaking with the faculty and staff there next week, and we anticipate that we will be posting the Idlehurst Elementary School principal position for the next person to fill that position effective July 1, 2026. All Idlehurst Elementary School and school leaders and school board members will be given the opportunity, and we'll figure out a way to do that with parents, is what we want most in our next Idlehurst Elementary School principal. Everybody at the school will be given the opportunity to express an interest in volunteering to be a part of the committee. We'll have the school leaders part of that. We'll have a parent rep or 2, a school board rep or 2. All of this will be latter part of October, early part of November as we establish it. We can talk about it in Personnel Negotiations Committee as well in terms of process. I would hope the position would be posted November 1-ish or early November, and the hope that I communicated to the Idlehurst faculty and staff was that we'd hopefully have the position filled and somebody ready to go, contract signed, ready to start July 1, maybe as early as January, maybe no later than March. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be out in front of things, and both our Assistant Superintendent Crosby and I have had conversations with educators in the area and in the region who would be pretty excited about the opportunity to come here. We might have some good internal candidates as well. And we will do the process exactly the way a position like this should be done. Open, transparent, involved, clear, good communication, consider all candidates, and do it the right way. And I will lead that process. Couple other quick things. Any questions about that one? Good. I wanted to quickly thank our educational colleagues in Dover. Aside from joining us with Oyster River in the 2 lawsuits that had a significant impact on the state, and aside from being part of this career technical education Tri-City agreement with Rochester, that's the wonderful thing for our kids, and all kinds of the Mental Health Alliance and other ways that we're all kind of working together. Peter Driscoll, the high school principal there, coordinated it, but we had 3 individuals from Dover give us about an hour and a half, 2 hours of their time a couple weeks ago for the joint Fields Committee that we're kind of pursuing ways we could look at doing something different in front of the middle school and the high school. Community space, athletic space, not a regulation track course, but maybe track elements. They are in the midst of a much bigger project over there. Our scale would probably be a budget of about 1/3 of that, but they were just incredible. School board member Brown was there as well. Gave us everything, access to things. Here's every document you could ever want. This is our strategy. This is what we learned. Keep us posted. We'll be involved. It's just great to have that collegiality. I was going to mention the Festival Association because I knew it was coming, but I didn't know they were going to be here tonight, so that's already done. And the last thing I will mention is the iReady assessment, which you've heard about 2, 3, 4 times now, which is our gold standard externally provided, valid, reliable, normed assessment measure that we will use moving forward for reading, writing, and math in this district, replacing NWEA. This is the central exam. We're wrapping up our first testing window, and our school leaders just had a really powerful hour-and-a-half conversation today, led by our assistant superintendent, around teaching and learning and where we are. We need to do better, and I think I reminded them that we have those 4 key domains that we were rolling out: attendance or presence, culture and climate, that we're going to measure in various ways, learning, which is going to be the iReady assessments at the top of the list, and graduation and matriculation. Those 4 domains that are the key ways we're going to measure our progress on all this will probably be rolling out middle of this year. We got to get data systems in place, and I know my understanding in the past X number of years, you've gotten bits and pieces of information here and there, but we want to say this is what's most important, and we want it out there and reliable and clear to everybody. Boston Sunday Globe did a magazine cover story this weekend that was titled "Public Schools Are Failing in New England and It Doesn't Seem Anybody Cares," I think was the headline. There's data post-COVID just across the country that reading, writing, math scores, and chronic absenteeism and student anxiety and depression are at levels of tremendous concern. And we have students finding great success in our schools and in schools throughout New England. But I think we need to, probably by the middle of this school year, have a really good, solid look at where this district is. And it's going to be apples to oranges, because we're going to say here's where we are right now, but where were we last year, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, given we now have a standard template for moving forward and a test. We'll do that apples to oranges bit, because it'll be good sense to see where we are. But I think we really need to look hard at all of that data as we've kind of got this in place, and as we've been working on this since. And aspects of it are going to require us to work harder and think more creatively about what we're doing. But just a heads up that that's coming. Sorry about the length there.
That's great, thank you. Any questions? I think with the last point of iReady and kind of our pillars of what we track in the data, I would just encourage student voice to be a part of that. Current students, recent alums, whoever, I think their insight onto what it is just so valuable, and I think giving students agency to be a part of the process is just important if it's going to have a strong foundation to grow and to be really adopted. I just encourage student voice to be a part of.
Yeah, just a reminder, the culture and climate piece is all going to be, aside from discipline data and PBI is going to be survey data, and largely student survey data, faculty and staff. And we're looking at either 2 times a year or 3 times a year, not too intrusive, so it's not a half-hour kind of thing, but quick. So that's huge. And just a reminder, too, that this has been on the 4 key domains document for close to a year now. The key measure for graduation and matriculation is families and students graduating self-reporting that I have a plan and I am satisfied with it, which sounds kind of wishy-washy, like, isn't it about everybody going to 4-year colleges? No, it's not about everybody going to 4-year colleges. That data is pretty significant, and parents and graduating seniors generally answer that question pretty honestly, especially when it's framed correctly. Do you have a plan, and are you happy with it? And to hear the same thing from your parents and guardians, and we'll still provide all the data, percentage of students going here, percentage of students going there, but that's kind of the key best measure at the top of the list, and that's all student voice.
And when would that be asked? Just out of timeline, because I put my parent hat on. When would that kind of question, would it be towards their final year in school, or?
The last question has to be when they know what their plans are, or as those plans develop. And we won't want to be slippery to ask on a pep rally day or some other day where they're feeling really good about everything. We want to make sure it's solid. We also have on our wish list that it'd be nice to have at least one data point a year or two out. And every school district wishes they had this, and it proves impossible. So just to the point being, we're not going to wait for students to graduate because it's really, really hard to get data back once students are out the door. I'd like to make this a, checkout requirement. You got to return this, you got to return that, and you got to complete this survey. Is really important. But ideally, we'd have a data point a year or two out where all students in some form or another are reporting that they're still enrolled in the 2-year college, they're still enrolled in the 4-year college, they're finding success, because students that go on to school and then drop a year or two later is a good indicator that we got something wrong at the beginning.
Or how much they're making in the trades and what they're,
Or that they're
what
really
bringing
happy,
in. Yep.
that they made the choice not to acquire any school debt.
Thank you. All right. Yep. Okay, moving on to our committee updates. I believe we only have a policy update. Board Member Brown, I don't think there's anything else. Yeah.
I have an update.
Okay.
Do I have the floor?
You do.
Okay. Just a little bit of a background, because we do have our Scout badge, Democracy badge attendees in the audience. I just want to give a little background that policies are our board rules and the school district rules. And similar to how the New Hampshire legislature adopts laws, you have to go through a first reading and second reading. So if you were to look at our agenda tonight, you will see that we will have some policies, i.e. rules, that will be up for second reading because we read them and first reading a month ago. And we have new ones that are coming up for first reading. So I just wanted to at least give that background to our scouts. Our minutes from our last meeting are at page 10 of our packet. It is great to have our policies vetted by the school administrators and board members so that we can get perspective from the school administrators that are also dealing with these policies. Kat is invaluable, I will say that again, at helping us go through these policies. And what you will see in first reading is we went through a couple. Now, the last time we reviewed policy BBAA and BBBC was in 2010. So it was approved in 2011. So it's been a while. So Kat has been helping us go through stale policies to the extent policies have been changed and required by law. She has helped us get that language included into our policies, so you will see them as track change in our packet. So I can speak to the policies when we get to first reading, but I just wanted to give that background that that's how we're charging through. You'll see a lot of policies because there's an awful long to-do list for this year. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our presentation for the high school report is postponed to our next meeting, October 28th. So our policy adoptions this evening, we have 3 readings. Second reading, we have the New Hampshire Parental Bill of Rights, Summer Activities and Instructional Resources Plan. These are for vote. Can I first have a motion to read them by title only, so we're not here for 2 hours?
I make a motion to read these policies by title only.
Okay, second.
I second.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Thank
Aye.
you. All right, Board Member Brown, please.
Okay, the first policy for second reading is AB. The title is New Hampshire Parental Bill of Rights.
All right, looking for a motion to adopt this.
I motion to adopt.
Second.
All right, wonderful. Any discussion? This is required by law, I believe. Yep. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next one.
The next policy for second reading is policy IHCA, Summer Activities. If you need to see this, is at page 32 of our packet.
Right. Yep, motion to adopt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, great. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
The last policy for second reading appearing at page 34 of your packet is IJ, Instructional Resources and Instructional Resources Plan.
Okay, do I have a motion to adopt? Okay,
Second.
second. All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, those are the ones. These are active policies. And then to our first readings, can I have another motion to read these 5 policies by title only, please?
I motion to read these 5 policies by title only.
Second.
Second, wonderful. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll just go one by first read.
Yeah. The first policy for first reading is policy BBAA, School Board Member Authority. Let me just keep going.
Yes, please, thanks.
For first reading, the second policy is BBBC, Board Member or District Officer Resignation. The next policy is IHBI, Alternative Learning Programs and Individual Plans. The next policy is IKB, Homework. And the last policy is JCA, Change of Class or School Assignment, Best Interest, and Manifest.
Okay. Thank you. All right. All right, for our unfinished business this evening, we have 8.1, our proposed Hilltopper Promise, and I'll pass it over to the superintendent.
We did all for second and first. You're up.
Perfect. I'll leave it up to the board chair and the board to let me know how you want to proceed. I went through all this pretty carefully last go-around. It's kind of been a process that began last summer and kind of wrapped up in June at the school level, brought it to the school board retreat in, I believe that was in July. Shared it in the form that it is now with the entire district about 3 weeks ago, ahead of it going to the school board for first read or as new business. I apologize. And the feedback, I've gotten a lot over the course of the last 15 months. I think folks haven't been bashful about expressing to me things they weren't happy with or didn't like, and they feel comfortable doing that. But in the my limited perspective, I asked that if you have any last thoughts or reservations, reach out to your school leaders or to me directly, or to anybody, to Kat or Katie at the central office. And I think I've heard maybe 10 or 15 folks who said, I love this, this is perfect, I'm very excited about it, and I haven't gotten any additional last-minute feedback otherwise. So that's where we are, and I'm happy to explain any parts of it or revisit any parts of it with folks.
Okay. Think of just the process of this. I think that the we're to kind of house this officially in our kind of mission vision statement, which is a policy. I think it's completely in order to have this as a to be voted on or adopted by the board this evening. But just kind of where it kind of sits and lays in codification. I think it's good for this, right, as it is, and then kind of how to meld this and intertwine into our policies, I think, is our next step in the A's and B's of our policy, but no, priority, mid-priority to be able to look at that in the policy committee. So I'm looking for a simple motion to adopt the Hilltopper Promise, which is our mission and value statement, just for a definition of what it is. Value statement as presented. Okay, do I have a second? Okay, great. Any discussion? Right. Oh, yep.
I just want to say I've heard great feedback from the people too. I did mention it to people in the public, what they thought of it, and they all love, the kids love it. They love, the Hilltopper Promise and what it stands for. So I'm very excited to see this come through.
Yes.
A comment also, all the people that participated in this discussion, I want to thank for donating their time to this.
And I think that just the request of having this kind of be, again, across, I don't want to say marketed, but kind of platformed across our abilities in either in not in posters, but in or something to be able to kind of see this in maybe a handbook, but kind of have this be central to being able to be understood rather than filed away. I don't think it will be, but just a request to have it be really publicly accessible. All right. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, wonderful.
One thing.
Of course, yeah.
Just an important reminder, and I've said it again and again, but just for folks that are watching. So this is document number one, what we're about and what we're trying to do. Document number two is effectively done as well. That's like, okay, if this is what we're about and what we're trying to do, how we hold ourselves accountable, and that's the presence, culture and climate, learning, matriculation. We're fleshing out the details and the data systems for that. The data systems will continue to be messy for a little while, but I would imagine mid-school year we'll be ready to kind of, you've already seen the one pager and this is what we're doing, but by mid-school year, I think we'll be ready to start saying, okay, this is what this is going to look like. How's it going to show up on the website? Integrated into the superintendent forums. A dashboard of sorts that the school board or city council or anybody in the community can kind of look at and measure is really important. The third key document is like, okay, this is what we're about, this is how we measure it, how are we going to get there? That's the beginnings of, okay, strategic priorities, and some of those trains have already left the station. We knew we needed better tech infrastructure. We knew we needed a better central assessment system already, so we've been moving on some of those things already, but that will be the primary work of the program committee over the next several months, and we'll kind of bring our rough draft. There's sort of, the board's been fully involved. Oh, by the way, some of these things are already happening, and everybody's nodded and agreed, and they were no-brainers in terms of just let's not wait till the whole plan comes together. And that hopefully will be together before the next budget season, so we can start actually tying it into strategic budgeting and strategic planning. So that those are the three things that go together.
Appreciate that. That's a good clarity of holistic vision. Just as we have students here and we're towards the end of our meeting, we don't have much more other than our upcoming meeting schedule, and we're kind of speaking about this, like what we want our schools to be. I'll just like, what do we want our schools to be? How do we learn? All those things. If the Girl Scouts could come up and say, without objection from the board, I'm asking just what makes you happy to go to school? What do you like about school? Or anything like that to kind of help us like think about how we decide things. That's what I kind of do. I ask people what they like, what they don't like, and what their vision is. But really the easier one is what do you like about school, or what is like your perfect, like what brings you happiness, what brings you joy, what do you like about school, what do you need more of, or something like that in general. If you want to think about that, or you can really say whatever you'd like and come up to the microphone because it's a democracy. We can listen to you.
At least currently it still is.
Yes, currently. Yeah. Is this all right? Yep. Yeah. Just 6 or 7 things you can say. Yeah, thank you. Welcome. Whatever you think. Yeah, do you want to hear the question again? Let's just be simple. Like what do you look forward to at school? What do you like about school? Yeah. You can say what do you like about school?
I like doing chorus.
Chorus.
The arts.
The arts, yeah.
I like field trips.
Field trips. Have you been on a field trip yet?
Only one.
Where did you go?
We went on a hike and then we got ice cream.
I think our superintendent would like to promote more of that. So, Mr. Shea, you just write and say more field trips and potentially more ice cream. Let's do that one. That'll be an easy one. Maddie, hi.
Put the microphone down.
Yeah, you can grab it and pull it towards you. There you go.
I like walking in at the beginning of the day and listening to music that has already been playing for a while.
Say more. Who's playing the music? Is it on the speakers? Is it Miss Posse?
It's like the teachers that are playing the music. It gives me a positive attitude every day.
Nice.
That just filled my bucket more than
And wakes me up.
And wakes you up. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else?
Thank you for
Well, you know
sharing.
how to reach out to us. We're like accessible. If you ever have an idea about anything about school, we want to hear you. Yes, board member. Where's your mic?
it strikes me that a lot of those things are about community and like being together, you know, chorus and music and the way we start our day and the field trips and the fun, and you know, that school is more than just, it is the rigor, but it's also the way we connect to each other. So I like those answers.
I got two. Yeah. School board representative Puckrin.
I feel like overall, it's like the importance of positive reinforcement, like with field trips and things like that, but also like community related, like self-expression is very important. And once you get to your later years, it's like a lot harder to find that kind of thing with such a set schedule and everything. And I'm really hoping that you guys are able to like bring that attitude into high school and everything, and being able to express yourself still and still have those clubs that really make you happy.
And I don't want to read it. I think that's what we're aiming for. I think that, and I think from my perspective, and I don't see, is that that's what it is more. And I think we have work to do to be able to create a space, a community that you want to go to school, you want to show up. It feels yours, because this is your school, like this is your community. And we really want to hear from that. And those things alone, I think we've been really supportive of those, of all of those things that kind of make you feel like, yes, I like this stuff, because learning happens easier when you really like to be there and you're looking forward to stuff and you feel connected, and community and relationships is everything in my perspective. Yes, O'Brien.
Board Member Brown, did you say they were doing a democracy badge?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's the point of democracy, right? Is that you guys get to have your voice to tell your representatives what you want, right? So nice work showing up and telling us exactly what you like, and you could also tell us what you don't like. But the more young people that get involved mean the less old people are stuck around making decisions for you, and the more young people are making decisions that matter. So nice work.
Yeah, thanks. All right.
One quick
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to, that was really well said, what you guys shared. The document that your school board just approved 15 minutes ago, aside from focusing on the 3 purposes of education and important skill sets like literacy and math, it says at the bottom, in a district-wide culture infused with and built upon 2 shared aspirations. The first is purposefulness, cultivated via engaging, relevant, and fulfilling work, rigorous and challenging studies, competitive exercises, and clear and high expectations. The hard part, but that students understand that what they're doing matters. The second one is joy. And I just want to really stress that this isn't like, oh, so it's about joy, not about math, reading, and writing. The way you learn math, reading, and writing and everything else is in an environment filled with joy. And so what your school board just approved says, cultivated deliberately and routinely and grounded with love and care in celebration, music, laughter, dance, play, and a variety of community building practices. And those are things that, as Talia points out, that we tend to get less and less of as we get older and older. And I've seen high school students in the right atmosphere live that stuff as well as second graders. But I just want to stress, because I know there's folks out there like, don't talk to me about those things. It's reading, math, writing, skills, college, so forth. All those things take place when you get those other things right. And there's a lot of that already happening, but when we make it core to our mission and you guys voted into policy and we hold ourselves accountable for it, and our student survey data appropriately asked of early elementary all the way through high school students either reinforces that we're doing it or we're not, will be pretty helpful.
Yes, thank you. Any other public comments this evening before I turn it? Yes, come on.
I love the idea of the checking in about their plan. Are they happy with the plan? I did just have one question. So you mentioned that it would be a prerequisite for graduation possibly, that you'd like to see that. But is there something to check from the beginning of high school to the end of high school? So is there a way to check a temperature every year? Is your plan still the same? Did your plan change? Do you still have a plan? Are you still happy? Because I know even just talking to my 9th grader, I want to know what her plan is. I want to know, does she have a plan? Is she working on a plan? Rather than waiting till 12th grade to sort of, oh, I'm going to have to think of a plan. Because then we make decisions quick and we make decisions rashly. But is there a way to take a temperature early on and say, okay, this is what your plan today is at 14. What do you need to do to get to that plan by the time you're 18? How can we help you with that? And even if your plan changes, it's okay. But what can we, why did it change? What can we do to help you? I had a ninth grader that knew what she wanted to do. She thought at 12th grade, I have to be locked into that because I said that at ninth grade. Her plan changed right after she graduated. That's okay. But we need to know that there's lots of opportunities. How can we educate them on the many opportunities in there so that they're not locking in on that one plan? So how can we take that temperature throughout the 4 years? Thank you.
Anything? Yeah, just, I agree 1,000%. So essentially at the high school level, that's good counseling programs, and counselors have a certain caseload, so sometimes the ninth graders don't get as much of it as the juniors and seniors do as they're getting closer to graduating, but we can make sure that we're doing a good job of that. It would be a lot to report. I would say that in terms of just like how we hold ourselves accountable, that everybody graduates with a plan that they feel good about. They have a plan and they feel good about it, and their parents do. Tracking everybody through 9th through 12th just in reporting out would be tricky, but that is a counseling function. What are you thinking you might want to do? Some ninth graders are ready to talk about it. Sometimes it takes till 10th or 11th grade. I wasn't ready till I was about 24 to figure out what I want to do with my life, and everybody kind of moves at their own pace, but it might have been because I didn't have the counseling that would have helped me earlier on. But I think what you said was very well said.
Just give the opportunity to talk about it. Some, as you said, some will be ready, some to have that opportunity early on to know what the options are. I mean, I knew a field that I wanted to go in at ninth grade, but I didn't know how wide that field was. And so I locked myself into one little part of it, whereas there's so many diverse types in just health field.
Thank you. Oh yeah, go ahead, absolutely.
Sorry. There's also an application that's implemented in the high school called Zello to help you find your path and things like that are implemented in your advisory and flex, which is meant to help you based on your personality traits and your characteristics and the things, how you best learn and things like that, on which fields would be beneficial to you and more likely to be what you want, which is it's more individual responsibility kind of thing that you actually have to be the student to fill it out. There are plenty of students who don't choose to fill it out, but everyone is given the opportunity to do it. It's just if they're willing to take that time to put it into their education.
And just from so I'm an educator, I don't teach in Somersworth, but I have talked with our Somersworth educators. And one thing I've noticed about the field of education is that it's changed. I mean, your concern is very valid, right? We want kids to have awareness of choices and be able to explore different things and not feel so locked in. My sister got locked in, right? And then she ended up not doing the thing that she wanted to do, and a whole long story. But what I know about Somersworth educators, I've just see a team of people so dedicated to the students and student-directed learning in a lot of cases and fulfilling their academic goals, but at the same time creating a community of support around them with things like, what is it, Zello? Yeah, and just relationships with their students. I even being outside of Somersworth as a teacher, I know education has changed from this assembly line to being connected with relationships with young people and who are you and what do you really want, and you don't necessarily have to go straight to college, or maybe if your family wants you to, how can we work with your needs and your family's needs, and with the school being more things to more people instead of just academics to people, I think there are more opportunities for that. So I totally understand your concern, and I see such a tremendous group of educators in Somersworth working really hard to build relationships, and those relationships will naturally result in kids feeling like they have support and resiliency, because we know that even with one strong relationship with adults, kids build resiliency, young people build resiliency and are able to make those choices. And then being part of family teams, right? And connecting with families, because the family concerns are really important. So I don't know, I have a lot of hope that we'll have more students ending up doing things that really drive them and fulfill them than getting locked into things that they don't want to do. So anyway.
Before you leave, would you like to come up and take a picture? Come up here and we'll take a photo, okay? All right, wonderful. Let's
one of them, but I have two co-leaders. You're in our troop too. You're in our troop. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, I can. All right. I avoid the big podium here. Okay, ready? Got a double button. Democracy. Democracy. Yeah. Yeah, right. That tracks. All right, I took several. Nice, thank you.
I have more than
That's actually
one.
not the last, that's not the final.
Is this
one.
is this
It's
the only
not.
copy out here?
No,
Oh, it's not
that's
the final
one.
final?
It's one in the packet. There's
Oh,
a
it's
few.
something different. Okay.
Just,
Oh, thank you. Okay. It's time for board member comments to round out the evening. Yeah? Board member Brown. Yes.
I thank the student representative for mentioning the upload speeds, and I thank Superintendent Shea for saying he's going to follow up on it. I'm sorry to hear about the unhappiness with using the dome. I personally was excited about having a graduation on our own soil and not having to go to Durham, but I understand the disappointment that, well, my sister graduated at UNH. Why can't we have our Somersworth at UNH? But we're also trying to support our local infrastructure. I hear the concern about incentives in the high school, and I'm sorry, with the cell phone policy, that was a state mandated policy. We had to comply with that state statute. And I realized that phone use was one of the incentives, so I don't know how to replace that, but I hear that we need to look at some other creative ideas to replace that incentive, because I don't want the kids to just feel like there's no goal once they are trying to achieve something. And the other thing, I realized our city council report, it mentioned the Maple Street and sidewalk was getting fixed. I come down Maple Street that doesn't have the sidewalks, and I'm seeing the kids walking, and that's a major thoroughfare. So at some point, it would be nice to think about having a safer path for the kids to walk rather than like they're walking on a balance beam trying to stay off of the road that people go 30, 35 miles an hour down that road. But it's an observation, it costs money. And I thank you for all that, the city council does. And again, thank you for the $4,000 check for the arts. Thank you for supporting the arts. Thank you for the airtime.
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone here, like our superintendent, our assistant superintendent, our school business administrator. Like you guys, we are in unprecedented time, and we have a lot of things going wrong, I would say, but we have a lot of things going right too, and we have a lot of things we can fix. But I think that we are in good good steering and good hands, and we're going to be okay if we stick together and help each other out. But I'm very thankful for this leadership here. That's it. Thank you.
Board Member Clark, you reminded me of the Vikings and the Finns. Okay, so every Viking ship had a Finn on board, apparently, because the Finns were well known for navigation and could help them reach the shore. And so with all of these unprecedented storms that we're facing, it's nice to have all you Finns on board with me, guiding us through. So I appreciate it very much. Because it's more the bad things that are going wrong is the weather around us. And I'm so glad to be weathering the storm with everyone. And yay for democracy!
Counselor or student representative? No? Who?
I'm really sorry. What am I supposed to say?
Oh, you can say whatever you'd like for democracy. You can actually. Yep.
Yay!
Yeah, no, great. Thank you to Somersworth Festival Association getting that check. It means so much on so many levels to get the money and just to have the support for the arts is priceless. Truly, really is a priceless donation, and we will do our absolute best to get what the students need, crave, and ask for. To the Girl Scout troop, thank you so much for coming. I hope your hour plus, you wonderful. You're welcome anytime. Okay, you can have absolutely. You have a floor. You have something to say.
I forgot to say that NHS is doing their Krispy Kreme donut sale, and you guys should definitely buy from me. And I would really appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll just make sure the USDA is in here. Okay.
It's not during school hours.
Not during school hours. Yeah, for the sugary things. I don't know. Thank you so much. I'm excited about what's going forward. I think, again, it's power of relationships, power of doing this, power of speaking up, because all of these things really, truly matter. And I think Somersworth is a place to be really proud of. A lot of people are doing a lot of work for the students' best interest in our community, best interest in mind. If you looked at the policies of hundreds and thousands of pages, you would know when I show all the work. So thank you. Good evening. Come back. And then that's all. We don't have non-public. I'm just looking for a motion to adjourn, and then I can come speak to you.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Wonderful.